I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com. It's a pop culture and entertainment news website. I am very excited. It is episode 35. I'm so happy for everybody who has listened. Thank you to all the guests that have appeared on YouTube, on my video podcast and my audio podcast. So joining the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar family is a guy named Blake English. Now, Blake just released his debut EP, Spiders Make Great Poets. His single Sad Girls Dance Party is nominated for the best song at the 2020 Berlin Music Awards. He has over 31,000 Instagram followers. He's also verified on Twitter, and he also has 31.7 thousand Twitter followers. So please help me welcome Blake English.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you so much for being on episode 35.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to be talking with you.
All righty. So when did you first get interested in music, and how did that passion evolve into the desire to pursue a career in the recording industry?
So I grew up in the musical theater world. So I was always very much a performance artist that utilized music as a medium to get my art across. That being said, when I really decided that I wanted to be a musician above everything else, I can remember I was in dance class, and I was training in a contemporary form, and I was just thinking, okay, I want more than this. Like, don't get me wrong, I love dancers, and I have the utmost respect for dancers. I think they're the hardest working people between dancers, actors, and singers. I think they're incredible. But that being said, I quite frankly wanted to be in the center, and also wanted to be the person that was creating the music that these people were dancing to. So that was really the first tipping point that moved me into being a musician. And then from there, I moved out to Los Angeles. I joined another band with one of my friends, and we were signed to Sony and had met mediocre success. There again, I really wanted to create my own music that expressed myself and what I felt was needed in the world in the most authentic way. And so that's really what led me to be a solo performer.
Awesome. So who are your music role models and influences, and how have they inspired you as a musician?
So I'm very promiscuous when it comes to my music taste. So I like a lot of different artists, and they all inspire me in different ways. That being said, I would say at the tip top of the pyramid would be probably Lady Gaga. I find her to be just an incredible performer, an incredible person. She involves a lot of theatrics in what she does. And then also her influences are also very similar to the people that I love. So I would say definitely Lady Gaga, definitely David Bowie, Meatloaf. I absolutely adore his music. And then from there, I love artists like Singer-Songwriter, which is an Icelandic band. And more than that, though, I would say one artist that had particular influence on me was an artist named Amanda Palmer. She was with a band called the Dresden Dolls, and she is the first artist that I considered to be on a massive level that kind of showed me a kindness of making me feel seen as an artist. She invited me to do a show with her. And that was after I had already been a huge fan of her and her band. And we just got connected on Twitter, and she really taught me a lot about how to relate to how to relate to your audience, how to relate to people. So she taught me a lot about being not just an artist, but a person. So I would say that between Lady Gaga and Amanda Palmer, both of them have influenced me in different ways. Lady Gaga in this, very, very high performance art fashion, which I adore. And she really brings this level of performance that I feel like no other artist brings to the table at the moment. And that's something that I aspire to be in my stuff. I love telling stories. I love telling stories through not just my music, but also through my performance. And I think she does that really well. And then Amanda is very, very honest in her art and how she expresses it. Love her or hate her, she is going to be honest and upfront about whatever it is that she is feeling or thinking at the time. And I really respect that as an artist. And that's something that I aspire to be, even though sometimes it's very difficult. So between those two, probably.
Awesome. And especially hearing about Amanda Palmer and how she took you under her wing, that is something you're going to carry with you for the rest of your career. That is like to have an artist like her on your side and actually taking her under your wing. It's incredible.
Oh, absolutely. I remember the last time I saw her, it was when I was getting started really into my solo career. And I told her, I was like, if I ever get on like a large stage, like the VMAs or the Grammys, like I'm bringing you on with me. So I look forward to that day because I plan on it happening.
Awesome. So as you prepare for the VMA, for your future that include the potentially on the VMA, so what have been some of the challenges that you have faced throughout your career, and how have you overcome those obstacles?
I think probably the biggest challenge is the consistent struggle to figure out who you are as an artist, or who I am as an artist, what it is that I want to say, and battling the idea of money and popularity versus honesty and authenticity. And what I really strive to do is hopefully incorporate both of them, but it's really, really difficult at times. And I think there's a really big pressure on artists to be, because branding comes into play, right? So you're expected as an artist to stick to a certain brand for a certain amount of time because that's what your audience engages with. But the thing is artists are people are artists, and we change all the time. We're constantly growing, we're constantly learning. So the expectation of sticking to a brand sometimes inhibits the ability to be completely authentic. And I think that's probably the biggest struggle as we're going through such difficult times right now. People are learning new things all the time, and becoming different people and wanting and choosing and wanting to say different things with their art. And so I think it really comes down to battling the expectations that not just your audience puts on you to stick with a brand, but also the expectation that you put on yourself to stick with a brand in, sometimes in the face of adversity. So I think, that's probably the biggest challenge that has been and continues to be for me, is constantly reminding myself what I'm aiming to do, which is be authentically honest at every present moment.
Awesome. So let's talk about your debut EP, Spiders Make Great Poets.
Yep.
Could you describe the recording process with my audience?
So when I first started writing the EP, I didn't really have a necessarily a trajectory, a place that I wanted to hit sonically. I had written pop music before. I've written for also J-pop and K-pop. So I was used to writing based on what other artists needed. In terms of my own art, I really wasn't sure where it was going to land. So as soon as I really started getting a foothold over lyrically what I was saying and melodically what was coming to my head, it just fit inside this punk theater realm, which is no surprise because also My Chemical Romance was a huge influence on me, as well as other punk artists. And so it just started fitting into this punk theater glam, melting pot. And I just kind of went with it. I let myself write, again, in a very authentic manner at the time, and allowed myself to let whatever was going to come out. And that's what I really stuck to. So when it came time to actually record the songs, the way that I write music is I'll start with a concept or chords on the piano, and then I'll write the entire song out, and then I will take it to one of the producers that I work with, and then we'll continue to kind of flesh out what sonically that's supposed to sound like. I can't really say that I am a guitar player, but I hear a lot of guitar melodies and harmonies and backgrounds in my head. And so it's really an interesting thing. I go in with the song pretty much in my head completely, and then we create the track from the ground up based on what it is that I'm hearing in my head. And then from that point, we record it. In terms of the actual vocal recording, I don't necessarily think that my music is suited to be the type of like pop style recording where you record a line and then you record the next line and you go through the recording process like that with a bunch of comps. I like my music to tell a story within the lyrics and then also within the vocals. It's very much made to be performed live, and I want that to be the experience that the audience gets as well. So as the song progresses, you hear my vocals progress based on where I am emotionally and from where I've been in the actual like vocal take. So a lot of the songs on my EP are just like one takes. If not one takes, they're like, very, very few comps within the music. And from there, we just, continue to create and build off of that. And bam, you get Spiders Make Great Poets.
Awesome. So one track that is catching a lot of attention is Sad Girls Dance Party. And what is the origin story?
So that was actually the first song that I wrote off of the EP. In fact, the way that the EP works is that songs 1 through 5, they were written in that order. And Sad Girls Dance Party started with me really trying to come to terms with some of the issues that I had faced in my childhood and how they culminated into who I am now and what I faced within myself to become a better person. And one of those things was I had a lot of issues with my father, which now we're on much, much better footing. But as a kid, as a son growing up in the South, I was really expected to be this, camo wearing, gun toting, sports playing, masculine male. And that really was like no part of who I was or who I felt I was naturally. So there was a lot of conflict between myself and the expectations that my dad had on me. And then on top of that, I went to a private Christian school, and there were a lot of issues with expectations from that, and then my struggles with figuring out religion and God and where I stood in all of this stuff. So as a 10-year-old, to get away from all of those crazy parts of my reality that maybe I wasn't able to cope with at the time, I went to my downstairs basement, which had old Halloween decorations and old Christmas decorations and stuff. And I just kind of set up my own little like dance club, essentially. I wrapped, Christmas tree lights around a mattress. I like turned on different lights. I even turned on an old fog machine that we had. And I put on some pretty bad techno music that I had downloaded off of one of those, peer-to-peer downloading sites, which I'm pretty sure was probably illegal at the time. But I was 10, so whatever. That being said, I just turned it on and I would dance around down there for like hours at a time. And that was how I got away from the pains of my like own personal reality. I was able to go into this like fantasy land that was created by me, and it was for me, and I was the only one allowed in there, and that's how I coped. And so Sad Girls Dance Party really describes that whole scene and how it came to be. And yeah, that's really the origin story. In terms of actually saying Sad Girls Dance Party as opposed to like Sad Boys Dance Party, another issue that I had growing up was, especially when I was 15, I had just gotten my learner's permit, and I would go through the drive-through, but I had a particularly high timbre of a voice. It just doesn't sit as low as, the typical masculine male, and especially with my voice continuing to change at 15, it was even higher than it is now. And I would go through drive-thrus, and it was always such an irritant to me that I would, say my order at the drive-thru window, and the person would always respond like, "Okay, ma'am, we'll see you at the window," or something like that. And I'm like, "I'm not a ma'am," And so there was this internal conflict that obviously stemmed from, all of the expectations that my dad had on me that, caused me to really, really question what it meant to be masculine versus feminine. And so with Sad Girls Dance Party, the idea that it's a girls' dance party, I really just wanted to play off of the fact that, that gender, especially now, is really up for debate, which I think is really wonderful. And gender norms are being questioned. And I wanted to make sure that was a point in this song.
Awesome. So I'm going to admit something. I'm going to be honest with you. I had a rough time getting through the first half of that music video because I've noted I am not a horror person. And so when I saw the elements, I saw the spider and I thought, oh my God, it's Alien, it's Thriller, it's Venom, all rolled into one. So were you worried about incorporating that spider would scare away your viewers?
Well, I can say that as a child, I took a lot of refuge in creatures, horror films, things that typically were viewed as scary, and I found a lot of comfort in them. So being worried about how viewers will react in regards to pulling them in, especially like the opening scene of the music video with the spider, coming out of my mouth, the spider alien. It was really something that I had to do for me, and also to relate to people like me who take refuge and find beauty in the things that are otherwise seen as scary. I mean, that is kind of the ultimate reason why I named the album Spiders Make Great Poets. It's finding beauty in something that's otherwise misunderstood or misinterpreted. And that's really what I wanted to express as an opener in the music video for Sad Girls Dance Party. So will it, deter some viewers away? Probably, but quite frankly, I'm okay with that because the meaning behind it is stronger to me than what people might take away from just viewing it at a surface level.
All righty, I understand that completely. So let's talk about Sad Girls Dance Party received the nomination for Best Song at the 2020 Berlin Music Awards. So what was your reaction when you found out about that nomination?
I was like, whoa, I honestly was speechless. I was just, that was my reaction. It was just speechless, exactly how I am now. I didn't really know what to think. Because, within the 2020 Berlin Music Video Awards, there's also, not within this category, but there's also people like Marilyn Manson and Taylor Swift and Halsey and all these other artists that, as an upcoming artist, to even be in the same, quote unquote competition or award show as them, I'm just flabbergasted at the whole thing. But I'm so excited about it. And it's not even really I got all the enjoyment out of just being nominated. So, I mean, win or lose, I have gotten what I needed personally out of this. And I think it really just inspired me to keep doing what I'm doing and to let me know that I'm on the right path. And yeah, that's really what my reaction was.
Alrighty. So earlier you talked about Lady Gaga and Amanda Palmer. So I would love to learn about who else is on your dream collaborative list. Is there any other singers and songwriters and producers? And how would they enhance your sound?
Ooh, enhance my sound. I was thinking about that actually yesterday. Obviously, I would love to, do a song with Amanda. I would love to do a performance with Gaga. I think Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance would be an incredible opportunity and collaboration for me. I find him to be so brilliant in the way that the songs were structured from My Chem, and just the way that he portrays the songs through his vocal delivery. I feel like, to be honest, I could learn so much from him. I've learned a lot from him as of now, but I could learn so much more from just being in his presence. That being said, obviously I would love to, or would have loved to collaborate with the late David Bowie, which when he died, I sobbed at that because he was a childhood hero of mine, seeing him in Labyrinth. And at some point I do plan on doing a tribute to him in my own way, through either doing, cover songs of his or something like that, because he's such an influential powerhouse to me. But really, I would be pretty much satisfied with doing a collaboration with Lady Gaga.
All righty. So what are some of your favorite social media platforms? Are you Facebook? Are you Instagrammer? Are you TikToker? And why do they stand out?
Well, I just recently started getting into TikTok, and I have to say it is a blast because there's such an ability to be, I don't know, like ridiculous on TikTok, and it's actually celebrated, which I get into a lot of ridiculous comedy. I get into ridiculous performance art. I'm a huge fan of campiness. One of my favorite movies is Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love camp. And TikTok, I think, really provides a platform for that. However, I have only been on that for probably the past 3 weeks. So I can't say that that's the place that I spend the most time. However, I could see myself going towards that. The place that I think I like more than anything is actually Twitter, which I love. Instagram. It's a great platform for putting art out, and I'm on there a lot, and I communicate with a lot of my friends on there. Twitter, however, is full of a lot of really, really intelligent people. The idea that they have to take a certain, word count and make a statement that sometimes just makes you laugh hysterically, I think is brilliant. And I just like the discussions that happen on Twitter. And I like also that a lot of the users don't take themselves too seriously, which is a big thing. I think I just said on Twitter that if you take my art too seriously, you've missed the point entirely. And if you don't take my art seriously enough, you're an a-hole. So it really is that combination of, seeing that it's all ridiculous, but also that it means something, and that it means something to others as well. So yeah, I'd say Twitter. Twitter's my favorite to be on.
Awesome. So second to last question. If you had the opportunity to meet with aspiring singer-songwriters about increasing their presence in the music industry, what advice would you share with them?
Okay, well, this is something that I'm continuing to learn myself. But as of right now, I still stand by the fact, be completely authentic and it's so cliche, but be yourself. The more of yourself you are, the more unique you are, and the more you stand out. If you try to be like other people, well, in terms of audience members, they already have that. But what they don't have is your own personal experience and viewpoint through your lens. And that's what I think makes it to where, especially in social media, if you are yourself, you are unique and will get some form of an audience from that because it's your own unique experience. So I think really stick to who you are, be yourself authentically, and just allow yourself also paired with that to have fun with it. Don't get too caught up in, the numbers game of it all. If you're having fun with what you're doing, that will also resonate with audience members. People want to have fun. And if you're having fun, they will feel that and they will have fun with you. And that will get you some lifelong companions along the way. So be yourself and have fun. That's my answer.
All righty, great answer. So Blake, where can my audience find you on social media, and also where can they find your music?
So on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, my handle is Blake is English, at Blake is English. And then my website is blakeenglishworld.com. And then on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music and all other streaming platforms, SoundCloud, Tidal, some of the smaller ones, you can just search in Blake English and my music will come right up.
Awesome. So guys, to hear more conversations, head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Spreaker, and just type in Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I know it's a mouthful, but it's Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, Elyachar, and in podcast. Also, if you want to connect with me on social media, head over to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Type in Jacob Elyachar, JACOB, And also, if you want to hear or read more additional content, such as music reviews and more interviews, head over to jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. Blake, thank you so much for the incredible conversation. I truly enjoyed having you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for talking to me.
Awesome. Well, have a great day, guys, and I will see you the next time. Goodbye.